Hello, everyone. Thanks for dropping in. This is Positive Vibes with Ariel. I'm Ariel Asher, your host, and we are brought to you today by Body, Mind, Soul TV and Media Network. Guys, I'm going to jump right into it today. I am super excited about my guest, Dr. Varun Gandhi, and he calls himself a life orchestrator. I love that. I call myself the maestro quite frequently. So we are really in the same vein. I love my friend. He's up to everything. He's up to what's your story. He's up to angel investors. He's up to so much good in the world. I just knew that I had to have him on today. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about some of the work he does and what the heck, what's got him doing all that work. So Varun, thanks for coming on today. It is a pleasure to be here with you.
Love and abundance, everyone. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Before I talk about myself, I want to do one particular thing that I do is ask everyone that's listening in to take their water bottles, and let's everyone take a sip of water right now.
Oh, nice.
And I do this at the beginning because I find that most people don't drink enough water in their day. So just listening to someone ask them to drink water, they're more likely to take a sip of water, and be that a gulp of water, however long you want it to be. But take that sip right now, and then again in half an hour, take another one. This way you are hydrated, because a lot of the diseases, about 80% of diseases that we normally face in our everyday, happens because of dehydration.
Mm.
So I kind of wanted to bring that up and just let everyone know. But now about me. Like Ariel mentioned, a life orchestrator. I enjoy bringing ideas, whether that is business, whether that is products, services. I enjoy bringing ideas into fruition, into manifestation. Those could be also ideas about yourself. And this has kind of been my journey of understanding more about myself. There was a time when I was going through my grad school, going through getting my PhD. I have a PhD in environmental engineering. And as I was going through that, I was kind of tuning into my purpose and asking myself, what is that purpose, and what am I doing with everything that I'm doing in my life at that time? And I felt like I was kind of just drifting, just going from one thing to the next thing, just because it was the right time to do it, because society asked me to do it. Go from a bachelor's to a master's to a PhD and get a job for a consulting company. And that was kind of my traditional path. Well, I got into this consulting company and I didn't really enjoy what I was doing. A year and a half into it, I had a sharp pain in my solar plexus. And now this is a time when I was, again, in more of an unconscious state. So I would do these exercises. I would sit down and ask that pain, like, what's the reason? Like, what's the message there? What are you telling me? And that pain over time, it led me to understanding that the work that I'm doing, the work that at the consulting company, even though it was helping public health, I was looking at the drinking water that comes into our house. So it was public health infrastructure. It was important work, but I didn't see importance in it because I didn't feel like I was contributing a lot. I didn't feel like I was making a difference in that specific job. And that's what the pain kind of told me. So I realized that. And then there was a fight against my parents, what people say, kind of going against that because everyone was telling me to continue doing that. What are you going to do once you leave this? Because I didn't have a plan. I was just going to leave it and figure it out. And that's what I did. I said, you know what, I'm doing it. I can't live this life anymore.
Okay.
I really felt I was a new person when I gave in my 6 week notice. I was like, hey, I'm leaving in 6 weeks. I felt completely different when I just submitted that letter in. It was like a whole new person, like something just left, and I can now be open to the new. So yeah, it's been a journey of looking for purpose, understanding what that means for me, and then at the same time, I was going through diving deeper into my spirituality. I had gone through a hard breakup, a hard relationship, and as I was coming out of it, I got into my shadow aspect, and I was, like came face to face with my shadow aspect and parts of me in that relationship that was completely like, why was I like that? Like when I woke up, I was like, why was I like this? This is not right the way I was thinking. The jealousy that
Yeah, hindsight is 2020, as they
yes,
say, right? You're like, what? How could that have even gone by, right?
yeah. And so there was a lot of jealousy in that relationship that, it was a projection from me. So it's kind of, and then I started meditating. So meditation has played a huge role in my life. And, just diving into meditation has been a game changer for me. And starting that whole process, because at that time I'd never meditated in my life. So starting meditation was, as I'm sure is a challenge. Sitting there meditating for 5 minutes took me 3-4 months to get there. But it was diligence, and I had to make sure that I would come there just about every day. Maybe I'd miss a day or two, but I want to make sure that I come to it and again do it. Sometimes at the very beginning, first month, second month, I wouldn't even make it to 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh, did you find yourself like washing the dishes? You sit down to meditate and I'm a body worker, so I sit down to meditate and then I'm folding the sheets,
Yeah,
right? I'm like,
yeah.
oops, I was supposed to be meditating.
That felt like 5 minutes, but it was only 1 minute.
Right,
When I began, I was like, I can't do this
right.
anymore. And I give up. But I will make sure that I come back to it the next day or at least the day after. I keep that a little consistency. So initially it was difficult, but then once I got into it, oh man, that's when I dove deeper, and that's when I understood that at every moment of our lives, we are creating stories. These are the stories of our perception. This is how we see life and the meaning we make out of every situation, every experience in our life. And that's what
We are meaning-making machines, right?
yes. Every situation we
It's
make.
so significant, right?
It's like your whole life is those meanings that we make.
Yes.
And once I started to understand that, I thought, why not create a tool? Why not create a step-by-step course where I could take people through this?
So tell us a little bit about that course that you do. Is this the What's Your Story course?
Yes, this is
Yes,
the
so
What's Your Story
fascinating. I
course.
want to hear about that.
Definitely. So the What's Your Story course is a 30-day journey. And through this course, we create something called the life film. Now, let me give you a simple analogy for what that means. So we're in a movie theater. We're watching a movie on this big screen. While the screen is an instrument, a tool that allows you to watch this movie. There's a projector in the back that's projecting a film onto the screen. So the projector is a tool, the screen is a tool, and there's a film. Now in our lives, we have the same thing going on every moment. We have a projector right here, our third eye. That's our imagination. That is projecting what our film, all of the memories, all of the past experiences, everything that's written on our film is being fed into this projector and it's projecting onto the screen. The screen now are all of our experiences. The screen becomes the people in our lives, the places that we visit. All of those things are different screens that we possess. And this projector is creating the meaning out of that particular screen. So this process, I wanted to create a film. I wanted everyone to have this opportunity to create their own life film. And that's what this course allows people to do, is to create it's called My Life Film. And they're creating that. And through this process, they'll understand how their past experiences have left an imprint on their memory, on their consciousness, on their subconscious, and how that imprint is affecting them to this very day.
Ah, very good. I love this. You may or may not know this about me, but my background is in theater arts. And so I started out as an actor and screenwriter. And so these concepts really fit into my healing work and the somatic body work even that I do, and how how the issues in our tissues actually imprint this stuff in our body. So you're talking my language, and I'm sure our audience is getting as excited as I am to know more about your story work and how you're applying this. It's so I love the way that you've described this and broken it down in such simple terms that people can understand all the points of perspective, right, of the mind and subconscious mind. Very well done. What got you started doing this stuff? Like, why did you, what was your interest in story? Were you just like crash coursing on Joseph Campbell? Were you doing because you're doing your own hero's journey here? Or what got you really juiced up to go into this?
You brought up screenwriting, so that was actually the thing that got me into it. On my bookshelf behind me, I have a book called Story, and this is by the screenwriter Robert McKee. And
Ah, okay, okay.
that's what got me into stories, one of the things. So right as when I was leaving my job, I was delving into screenwriting. I had a friend who has now become a successful director in India. He was writing scripts at that time, and so I was with him, helping him and kind of going through the whole process of understanding stories and putting a script on paper. And I'd written my own script as well, which was the first version of the first version. So it's, you know how that goes.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over, right?
Yeah.
I do know how that goes.
So it was the screenwriting that got me into stories. And then at some point, I also realized that whenever I would, when I was single in my life, I would reach out to people on dating apps. And the way I would ask people is, what's your story? I would ask them, hey, what's your story? That was a common way of me to kind of get to know people or dive deeper into some meaningful conversations with folks. So I realized that at a later point in time that storytelling has been part of my vocabulary for a long time. It just came out more when I was screenwriting, and then from there I got into.
Well, I think it's no mistake that you got into screenwriting, right? That's no mistake, right? That's not just a bump in the road right there.
Yeah, I was meant to learn a lot from it, and it essentially broke down how the human psyche works, because it says real life is story life, and you want to create story life to be as real as possible. And so it gave me an understanding breakdown of of how movie scripts work and how real life works in essence. So that, and then again, kind of going back to my research, my PhD, my engineering mindset, that allowed me to create these concepts, break it down, and then also create something called a life film, which is something that's you have to think about it, put it on paper, and ask yourself certain questions where you can dive deeper into these experiences and understand how those experiences led to certain beliefs, how those beliefs led to certain vocabulary, led to certain self-talk, the way you see yourself. And so you can kind of gain an understanding, a holistic understanding of how this one experience that happened at age 10, for example, helped you or hurt you and brought you to where you are right now.
Right. And when you identify it, it's like unraveling a sweater, isn't it? It's like you just take the string and you can take it all the way back. This excites me. I love this work. That's wonderful. I know that's not even the only thing that you do as well, Varun. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the other things that you've got all your fingers in? I think you're like me. You're a serial entrepreneur, and it sounds like it anyway. And what I love is all of the projects that you have your fingers dipped into all have to do with raising the consciousness of the planet, protecting the environment, supporting nonviolence and better communication around the world. You're just a gem. We love you. So tell us a little bit. Yeah, I mean it. I'm so excited. I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about all the things that you're doing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this I got interested in your bio about the angel investment stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, so the angel investment is something that I'm getting into right now. We've created an angel investment fund called Ahimsa Fund, Ahimsa meaning nonviolence, and essentially this fund it will be supporting businesses, ideas, and concepts that protect the planet, that consume less resources, that have a clean technology solution. Maybe it's an environmental solution. Maybe it's a plant-based food. It's a variety of investments, but essentially we're raising a 2 million fund that we could invest in these companies and these different ideas over the next year.
I love that. I love that. And I hope that all the visionaries that are listening and leaning in today to this podcast, I hope that pricked up your ears a little bit. So make sure that you can let Dr. Varun Gandhi know all about your great ideas. And you're no stranger to manifesting little widgets and things. Don't you also have a product, a plant-based product? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, the plant-based product is called Miracle Food, and essentially it's a 15-day cleanse that
Oh,
consists of 5 different superfood oils. It's a blend of these oils, and you take it by the mouth. You take about a shot every day, 15 ml, 30 ml every day, and you take it along with some water. And along with our Miracle Food, which is the oils, we also have a Miracle Tea, which consists of 9 different herbs, and each of those herbs have a long list of benefits. So times 9. So it's a whole lot of goodness packed in one little box.
I love it. All superfoods. So you are just using every little bit of your brain power to make the world a better place. I am so in alignment with that. I love that. Now, I didn't know. Now, that is a cleansing product, you said. So if somebody wants to reset the body, or if their story isn't going exactly the way they want, they can reset their body, their bio body that way, I'm assuming.
Exactly, exactly. It's something that will allow them to remove the toxins from their body. If they're having pains at certain places, it will remove all of the toxins that are causing these headaches and these pains that shouldn't normally be there. And it allows you to flush out the system in just 15 days.
Wow, that sounds like powerful stuff. Well, if everybody's interests are piqued now, could you please tell us how anybody can get hold of you in case they want to get some superfood, or if they're interested maybe in some of your philanthropy?
Yeah, definitely. You can reach out to me through my website, which is drvarungandhi.com. I'll spell that out for you. That's drvarungandhi.com. Instagram by the same handle, Dr. Varun Gandhi. Feel free to reach out to me, message me. I would love to help you out in any which way that I can.
I am so interested in your what's your story process. It sounds absolutely fascinating. I think anybody could benefit from a 15-day cleanse or a mini cleanse of some sort, just to get their head cleared up. And I wanted to tell you, I love you. Thank you so much for telling everybody to take a sip of water. Actually, the spiritual practice that I have, that is part of how we get ready. We always take a sip before we have any sort of interchange, or before we're doing any sort of prayer ceremony. So I love that, and I'll have to take a sip of water before every show. Well, I do anyway, but I'll make it a thing now.
There we go.
So you keep watching and you keep listening, and hold my feet to the fire for that one.
I sure
I'll
will.
give you credit for that one. All right, everybody. I am just loving this time. It goes so fast. I love bright and shiny guests. I love that we are all sharing our work and our hearts with each other. And everybody, just make sure that you go out and make today the very best day that you can. Thank you, Dr. Gandhi, for being here with us. We really appreciate the work that you do. And thank you, listeners, for dropping in. We'll see you next time on Positive Vibes with Ariel. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.